Hey everyone, I'm Kylie at Games Unlimited, and these are my picks of the week. We'll start off with something that's relatively new, came in a couple of weeks ago. This is a small box card game called Vintage. This is from Bruno Ferduti, who did games like Citadels, one of my all-time faves. And this is a very quick filler, about a 20-minute card game where you are trying to collect vintage items. We're talking about old televisions, phones, music players, chairs, lamps, all from the 50s, 60s, or 70s. So you can see it's definitely got that sort of 60s aesthetic going on. There's a lot of that in the graphic design of the cards. But what you're trying to do is collect these cards. Now each of the categories might score you points. What I mean by that is having a lot of cards from the 50s, a lot of cards from the 60s, a lot of the different colors. Things come in different colors. So having a lot of orange cards, a lot of black cards, and of course having a lot of the same type of object, a lot of robots, a lot of couches, etc. So you're going to do this by having cards in front of you. These are cards that could potentially be yours, but can be stolen by other players. So there's some cards in front of you, and at the start of your turn, you get to choose one of those and archive it. That's mine, no one can take it. Then you are going to acquire another card, either from a face-up display, or more commonly, you're going to steal one that's in front of another player, adding it to your stack of what's in front of you, which of course can be stolen back by that player on their turn. So you're going to take a card, then you draw a couple cards off the top of the deck, choose one to put face up in front of you, choose another to put in the face-up display. So as you can tell, there's no way to keep things safe. The only time you can take something and make sure it's yours is at the start of your turn after everyone else has had the chance to steal it from you. I also didn't mention that cards have an inherent value of points on them as well. So those 5-point cards, whether or not they mesh with the collection you're going for, still might be valuable and other people might take them. So that's Vintage, very cool family game, little sort of palate cleanser or a filler if you're having a game night. Definitely one to check out. And speaking of card games, The Crew. If you haven't had a chance to check this one out, it's been out for about a year now. This is the Kennerspiel, the Gamers Game of the Year winner for last year, and it is a cooperative trick-taking game. Now, I am a huge fan of trick-taking games. I will play every trick-taking game that comes along. And the idea of a cooperative one intrigued me. And we actually played this, we did a mock-up of it before it came to the US and played a ton of it here in the store. So what you're doing with this is, as a group, it's 3 to 5 players, though there are some rules for 2 players. As a group, you need to make sure each person takes a specific trick. It's going to be different every game. So maybe I have to take what would be the equivalent of the Jack of Hearts, and the person to my left has to take the 2 of Spades. We can't communicate, of course, other than one simple way. Once per round, once per hand, you are allowed to put one of your cards face up in front of you with a token showing that it is the highest or lowest or only card I have of that suit. That's the only information you can give. Now the cool thing about The Crew is there are 50 different missions in here. An individual mission is going to take you 5, maybe 10 minutes. There's 50 different missions of increasing difficulty with different things that you have to do. It's not always just collect this particular card. Sometimes you'll have to collect 3 or 4 specific cards. Sometimes you have to choose someone who can't take any cards. There's all sorts of interesting things. I've managed over the course of the past year to get through all 50 scenarios, plus there's more scenarios online. If you are a fan of trick-taking games, I've often said that this feels a little bit like bridge in the way you really have to think about it, because in bridge, you have a partner. In this, everybody's your partner. So you're all trying to read each other. What is the card play that they're doing? What is that telling me about their hand? What do I have to do? How do I have to lead? Fantastic game. It will definitely kick your trick-taking game into high gear. So if you haven't picked one of these up, it's incredibly inexpensive. The Crew. And last up, we're going to a real blast from the past. I got a chance to replay, after several years, Cacao. And we got a bunch of copies in stock. It was just one of those games that, as an oversight, we hadn't stocked in a while. But I remember when this came out back in, I want to say 2013, we were calling it the Carcassonne Killer. And frankly, I still might feel that way. This is a tile laying game for 2 to 4 players. Plays great with all numbers. I've played it with all numbers. And it's a bit of a worker placement at that, except your workers are actually on the tiles. You don't have physical workers. So on your turn, you're going to play a tile from your hand, and it'll have 4 of your workers on it. They might be 1 on each edge, or a couple on one edge, and some empty edges. But when you place it to this common display, it's going to touch forest tiles. And each worker is going to get you something from that tile. So if you have a worker touching a tile that lets you harvest cacao, you get some cacao pods. If you have a worker touching a tile that lets you sell the cacao, you get to sell cacao for various amounts of money. There are temples that are an area majority. At the end of the game, whoever's got the most people around each temple is going to get some points, etc. But the other cool thing is you're not just placing your tile and your workers down. You're going to have the opportunity to shape what the whole board looks like by placing these forest tiles. So if there are some empty spots, you get to put a forest tile down, and if your workers are touching it, collect stuff, but the opposing workers will also get to collect things. So this plays in about a half an hour. Very much if you like tile laying games, especially if you love Carcassonne, definitely check out Cacao. It's an oldie but a goodie. We like it. We'll probably set this one up for demo sometime soon, just to reintroduce people who may not have heard of it to Cacao. All right, that's my picks for the week. Come on down. We're happy to talk to you about any of these games. Come check out the games we have on our demo tables right now. I'm Kylie at Games Unlimited, and this week, I hope you unbox some fun.